Yesterday, City Council passed the Resilient Calgary strategy, which is really our roadmap of how we go forward in ensuring that we have an economy and a city, I should say a city, that is economically, socially, and environmentally resilient. When people hear resiliency strategy, they might think, well, it's about flood mitigation, or they might think it's about climate change, adaptation, and greenhouse gas emission reduction. It is about those things. It is about many, many, many things, because ultimately it is talking about how we build shock absorbers into our city, into the work that we do, so that we can roll with external shocks as well as manage internal shocks better. So to give you an example, we can talk about the economy. As you've all heard me say many, many, many times, Calgary went from having the lowest unemployment rate in the country for many, many years to the highest in an 18-month period. We went from having essentially 0% vacancy in the downtown core to 1/3 vacancy in an 18-month period. I love roller coasters. This is a bit much. And so when we talk about economic resiliency, we really are talking about how do we manage the economic development of our community in a way that can handle and weather the ups and downs of business cycles better than we've been able to do in the past. And certainly this downturn has been a great example of how things have changed. Throughout the downturn, people continued to move to Calgary. Our population continued to grow. People are attracted not just by the economic opportunity, but also by the quality of life here. Meaning that some of the traditional things that governments did in the past when population shrunk, we just couldn't do. The population was still growing. So these are things we need to continue to work on. When we think about environmental resiliency, especially in a world of climate change, it's about managing our air, land, and water in a much more thoughtful way than we have in the past. It's about mitigation for flooding. It's also about how we deal with the changing climate and what the impacts of the changing climate are here in the city. When we think about social resiliency, we think about how the demographics of our community are changing. We think about how the city is getting older, an aging population. We're not immune to that, although we have a lot of people coming in who are younger. We think about ethno-demographic change and how the city is coming up with people who have different expectations of their government and different expectations of participation. And we have to be able to respond to all of these things. So I'm very, very pleased with the work that has gone in, and I'm very pleased that the city has launched the Resilient Calgary strategy. This is a city strategy, but it's a strategy that is deeply rooted in the community. And from post-secondary educations to social agencies to private industry, people have worked hard to help us develop a more resilient Calgary. So congratulations to everyone. And today we take the first steps on a journey towards a much more resilient place.